Hey, before we get into this episode, I just want to let you, the viewer, know that my audio got lost while I was recording this episode. So I had to go through and re record the voice part of this. So if it feels a little off, that's why. But I wanted to get this episode out there to you guys. So I hope the hiccup and everything still makes it worth watching. Thanks for hanging out. Enjoy the episode. Hey everybody, it's your boy Tubby Totodile, and welcome back to the Game Squad SMP, but this is Season 2. In this episode, I just wanted to show you around my base and show you what I've been up to this season, seeing as I haven't really made that much Minecraft content. So this is the entrance of my base, or this is like what you would see when you first come out of the Nether portal, and my base is called the Sandy Calico. Big thank you to Panda Force Gaming for helping me name this place. So I guess we'll start with this farm over here on the right. This right here is my sugarcane farm, and it was the very first farm I built on this server. And I just made it because I think it was PJ and all the buddies down over at Flex City. They initially were imposing a sugarcane tax on everybody. And so I was down to play game, so I made this really extravagant sugarcane farm just to really make sure that I could keep up with their demands, and I think I did a fairly good job with it. I'm having a lot of fun this season building with a lot of the new blocks that were introduced in 1.16, so there's a lot of this new red wood and a lot of like black stone on the ground, and I'm a big fan of all the new blocks that have been introduced in this new season. So this right here is my villager trading hall. It's located right in between the community center and my iron farm. Ooh. And I just really wanted to make sure I had all my villagers somewhere completely concise, way bigger than the last SMP, so that way I didn't have to do a bunch of back and forth or anything like that. They're all just congregated right here. And I have a bunch of different villagers, and like with the librarians, I even have them labeled, just so that way when other players come through, they know exactly what it is that they're coming in for, and they know exactly like what librarian trades what books. And it has multiple levels, just because I've been farming a lot harder this season than I did in the last season. So I wanted to make sure that there were more than enough villagers to be traded with, and more than enough options to get rid of certain things like rotten flesh and iron and melons, all the things you would sell to your villager friends. So this right here is the iron farm, and I'm really happy with how this one turned out. So it's 4 separate modules that have been kind of compressed together into this one massive iron farm. And it's based off of Ilmango's Peaceful Iron Farm, which just operates without even needing any mobs or anything like that to generate. But I went ahead and took it a step further and made sure to put mobs in it. As you can see, we got some zombos right here. And the way it works is during the day, the villagers can't even see the zombie, but when it turns to nighttime, those pistons will open up, and then the villagers will see the zombie and be afraid. And so it just makes the iron farm, or each module of the iron farm, function 24/7. So I'm always getting iron out of all of these throughout every hour of the day. It's insanely useful. The original build, you were only getting it throughout the day, and then they would go to bed at night. So I like this setup just because that way I can get as much iron as humanly possible. So back here behind the iron farm is my latest farm. It's nothing like super crazy. It's just a way to automatically get potatoes and carrots out of villagers. And it's not, like I said, it's not insanely efficient. I'm not going as hard with these resources, but I do have them kind of sorted into an area I'll show you later. So I just wanted to make sure that I was consistently receiving potatoes and carrots. And here, if I can get up here real quick. When you take a little peek in, you can see that we got some farmers, and they got their potatoes, and they just do their villager thing. When they are ready to try to give potatoes or carrots to the guy in the middle right there, they'll get collected by a hopper system, so that way he actually never gets any potatoes or carrots from his buddies. And they'll all get flown into a hopper line, which will then send them out with this little redstone signal, and it'll send it over to the community center. So speaking of the community center, this quartz area right here is the community center. And not everyone on the server has wings. So there is actually a flying machine elevator that I created to let players get up and down. And you can call it from either side. So if you come over here and it's in the down position, all you have to do is press a button and it'll bring the elevator system up to you. So let's wait on that to get to us. Oh shit, here it comes. And then once it's arrived, you can go ahead and send it back down. So it's just a useful way. Like I said, not everyone on the server has wings. And so I just wanted to make sure all players were able to come down here and get certain items and resources. It's not the fastest elevator, but I do think it's kind of spiffy. So this is the community center, the insides of it. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I don't usually build with the end brick or the end stone, but everything here is automatically sorted. As you see, we got iron. There's plenty of other things like mob drops and the roses from the iron golems. We got the potatoes, the carrots, the whole nine. Things that I think people would find insanely useful are here. And then I also try to make sure that I have like ender pearls that were provided from a farm that Davis made out in the end, and fireworks, just so that way if players don't have any, they know they can come get some conveniently. And I even have things like music discs, so if players want to come through and nab a few of those off of me, you know, I just have options for all the other players. And then I even have this little item drop-off area, so if you have things that go into this system that you don't want anymore, like iron, gunpowder, etc., you can just dump them into that chest and it'll flow it into the system. Right over here is my mob farm, and here let me get up on this piece of glass, show you how it works a little bit. So it's multi-platform. I think there's 3 on each side, and they just have alternating water that gets turned off and on, so that way mobs that do generate on these platforms are forced off, and then they'll flow into a kill chamber. The dispensers are set up on an Ethos hopper clock, so I don't even have to really worry too much about, you know, pressing buttons or pulling levers. It all just flows by itself. So this area is my personal storage, and again, everything is automatically sorted. I didn't really want to have to bother with consistently keeping my chests organized or anything like that. I'm really bad at that, to be honest with you. So this was a nice way to be able to learn how to build these kind of sorters on a much larger scale, and it keeps me from becoming too disorganized. Like this little area over here are the items that still need to be sorted, or items I'm not going to sort in general. Hi, cat friend. But so this is just an extra capture for things that I do want to sort in, or things that will have to find a way to be sorted. But I think I have most of the main things kind of put into the system for the most part, like dirt, grass, stone, cobblestone, etc., things of that nature. Another thing that I'm doing this season is I'm using like a highly altered texture pack, something that I kind of went out of my way and customized. And one of my favorite things is, well, I have all the records. I went through and made sure I collected every record that was in the game, including Pigstep. But I've gone ahead and altered them a bit. You know, I collect records in real life, and not all of them are just black. You can get white ones and transparent ones and sun gradient ones. And so I changed them up, and I gave them custom songs. So this is Verdanturf Town from Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. And I'm just really happy with how this turned out. One of my favorite, more like random builds that I have on the SMP right now is this lighthouse. And it just is a lighthouse, but when it turns to night, it actually activates. So through the power of editing, I'm going to make it nighttime. Boom. And as you can see, it turns on. And I'm really happy with how this turned out. I don't usually just build to build. Usually it has to like serve a function. So I'm happy with that. So the last thing that I want to show off is this build right here. And like I said, I don't usually just build the build, but this is a build of a Halo map. Halo's like one of my favorite games. I play it all the time, or I try to at least when there's time to play, and I play a bunch of it with like Cam Sauce and Blair Sue. And it's one of my favorite games, seriously. So I went and took the time out to make this version of Lockout or Blackout. And it's just one of my favorite maps. It's also in the Halo Minecraft like mashup pack. So I was able to have a point of reference with this one, and I'm just beyond jazzed with like how well it turned out. I think it's not exactly like 1-to-1, but it's so close, and I just am super happy with how it turned out. I don't, like I said, I don't build to build, so having this random build that is just to pay homage to one of my favorite games on the SMP this season makes me super, super happy. And yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and show you around a little bit. Like this over here is blue side, and you can see right down the hallway towards red side, which is really cool, and it just feels like the map does. And I want to eventually have space here for players to, you know, come through with like some bows and arrows and like specialized armor to like do PvP specifically on this, because it's from Halo. It's meant to be, people are meant to be killed here. But I think that's going to do it for my little base tour. I definitely didn't go over everything that's here. Like, I didn't show you my neighbors' builds or anything like that. But leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know if you want to see more content like this from me. I definitely enjoy playing Minecraft, and this season of the SMP is really cool. We got people doing lore live streams. We have players building insane bases that I could, you know, go around and show off more than just my base. But yeah, let me know what you thought about this episode, and until next time, I've been Tubby Totodile. Leave you with some kisses.